Okay. This is a first for me. First, talking to two people in two different locations. I've had two people on before, but they've shared a camera, so the screen looks a little different for those of you watching on YouTube. But I am absolutely thrilled to be joined by Gantt and Woody Miller of Winco Windows. They are based in St. Louis, been there for more than 100 years. You can find them at wincowindows.com. And guys, I'm thrilled. I got a ton of stuff to go over, but first and foremost, thrilled that you'll join me for this podcast. Very excited to talk to both of you.
Really, thank you for giving us the opportunity. It's exciting to get on here and have this new sort of outreach and medium to work on.
It's true. It's actually that you bring up a great point. It's a great way because I don't know if I would ever, with the exception of maybe running into you at a show, I get this opportunity to talk with you guys. And I am a fan. I mean, I had Winco on my project of the week a few months ago on my blog, and I like what you do. But now this opportunity to kind of take a deeper dive, that's exciting. So let's start. I'll start with you, Gantt. Tell me a little bit about how you got to this point, a little bit of your background, because 100 years in business, great company. Talk a little bit about your past.
Well, I'm not quite that old.
No, I know it's not all. Yeah.
No, I kind of came in through the back door. I married into the family. My wife's grandfather started Winco.
Okay.
He started it over 100 years ago with a patent related to Windows. And from that patent, we kind of established it was issued in 1915. So we didn't know when Winco really started making Windows, but we said, let's just call that the day.
Right.
And so that's how the 1915 evolved. But my background is that I came out of architecture. I'm a licensed architect.
Okay.
I used to work for SOM.
Oh, wow.
And up in Chicago was Bruce Graham's team doing all those mega highest buildings in the world type thing back in the 70s. And then I went into the development business. And I worked for and ran the construction for the largest development company in St. Louis for 5 years. And then I decided to go out on my own.
Okay.
And I quit and moved to outside Washington, D.C. and started my own development firm. And my wife's father, Woody Kubatsky, who's in the industry a long time, a big member of AMA back in the old AMA days when it was an aluminum association only. And he used to come and visit us all the time. And he'd go up to Henry Taylor. You probably know that name.
Yes.
And he'd go up to York, Pennsylvania. He'd borrow one of our cars and go up there for some testing. And on one of his trips, he kind of looked at me and he says, this guy's not going to support my daughter. He's sitting around here listening to classical music, drawing pictures, and so he said, son, how would you like to sell some windows for us in the DC area? And I said, oh, I guess I could. I don't know. I don't know anything about windows. And he says, well, we just can't sell anything here. We lost our rep, and we'd sure love it if you'd help us out. And so I helped them out, and I did very well. But I wasn't smart enough to know that you're supposed to put in a commission for yourself.
Oh, wow.
So I sold everything without any markups.
Oh my gosh.
And so I ended up being one of their top reps overnight.
Of course.
So that's my first introduction to Winco. And then when I really got involved in the management was about 5 years later. And it's also another kind of interesting story. A month before my father-in-law died, we were playing golf, and he said, I've just about sold Winco. He says, I'm selling Winco. I want to come work for you. You make more money and have more fun.
Wow.
And then he died, and the rest is history. And then I got involved running Winco.
Wow. Wow. Okay. And that, yeah, that history could have been a lot different. Now, Woody, you come along and did you go right into the business, or did you find
No, my story is a little more concise, but
okay.
I've had less time to build it.
You went to DC and started to sell windows for no commission. If you that'll shock me if that is the case.
I didn't go that route. It was more of a rite of passage. We started out in high school. Pretty much, we all worked in the factory in high school.
Yeah.
So you get down on the line, you learn how to put them together, how the team works there, and get a taste for what you could be doing and what you might not want to be doing, that sort of a thing. Like, here you go, like, this is a real job. Come on and do this. And so that was really the first step there for me in the window industry. I went to college in James Madison University, got a degree that has a management focus, and left there. It had some misguided moments in life, I guess, going down strange paths and career choices as a raft guide and other things, but ended up as in construction, like my father had.
Okay.
And I had my own construction business for over 10 years.
Okay.
And built for a bunch of customers, built for myself, and then sort of got pulled into Winco under the guise of helping them figure out a few things in operations. And before I knew it,
you're in.
Years later, they've made me a VP of something, and gosh, they got me.
Yeah, I absolutely. I know that well. And again, I'm with Woody and Gantt Miller, Winco Windows. And what's interesting is that I know that world. When my brother, I didn't want to be in the business. My family's been in the business since 1898. I didn't want to be in the business, wanted nothing to do with the business. My brother convinced me. I was working in TV. My brother convinced me, said, hey, give it a shot. You'll love it. Everything will be great. And, it's the same sort of scenario. Once I got in, it really is no getting out. I didn't do anything as fun as rafting or building things for myself, but I enjoyed the sports aspect of it. But I was also making $6 an hour, and my brother offered me $6.50. So I had to go for that. But it brings me to that question. You guys, I have that family dynamic, and it's a tough dynamic. Father and son. I work with my dad, and I work with my brother, my sister, my cousins. I mean, it's really intense. I have to ask, how do you guys, do it from your end? Because the family dynamic is kind of tough. I mean, that can be challenging. How do you keep things straight between you guys when it's business and it's family?
I think I don't think it's tough. I think it's very rewarding.
Okay.
And Woody's older brother also works with Winco, and he's a top salesman out on the West Coast, and he is elected not to be at the factory, and it worked well. Woody and his younger brother built the last 100 some thousand square foot addition we put on the facility. And I think that's when we really kind of put the hook into Woody. So and he did a great job, and I really I think it's been very rewarding working with the family, and we also, as Woody can tell you, we have other family members, cousins involved too.
So yeah, very, very similar. And I assume the son out west is also named Gantt. That's the other Gantt Miller.
That is the other Gantt Miller, and he has a son named Gantt.
Okay. So are we up to Gantt the fifth or Gantt the sixth?
He's the fifth, and he calls me Poppy, and he says, Poppy, when I grow up, I want your job.
There you go. Yeah, it'll continue. It'll continue. So Woody, before I move on, family business, the dynamic, you're working with your brothers, your dad. It's pretty neat.
And my cousins are working there daily at Winco, where I am. One of the things about sort of the family dynamic, I guess, of the family business that I'd love to bring up, which I've always felt is really powerful, is the, my cousin Brad is there every day working on trying to keep us out of trouble in the engineering and detailing world, saying, oh, that's not possible. This is what we need to do. And then my cousin Elise is there on the bookkeeping and collections and accounting and those things. And she's always got bandwidth to jump into the next thing and keep us moving. But beyond that, the really big deal is, we've been around for a long time. And we have employees that have been with us since I was in diapers, and I'm working with them now.
Yeah.
They've been there for 50 years.
That's
and
cool.
we have, it's hard to say that the family doesn't extend a little further, because we do treat one another like family there. There's not a whole lot you wouldn't do for some of those guys that you've known for 30 years, formally for me.
And I think and I think it comes through because one thing that at least from those of us like me around the outside, the one thing I always have heard about Winco is the culture. The culture is very strong, and that obviously comes from that family dynamic that you guys have pushed. And you said it well. I mean, you're working with people that you've known your entire life.
Absolutely.
That's something. Now, those people and you guys have created an incredible company that's so diverse. And that was one of the things I wanted to get into, is that I'm amazed at how vast that product line is and how vast it is dealing with going from a historic renovation to a hotel and all of these different, things in between. I mean, you are very, very vast when it comes to that product offering. Was that by plan, or is that by just you want to keep innovating sort of thing?
I think it's a mind frame that we've been in. We've always been in this mind frame. It's just customization and the service side of it, where we have our good reps out there that are selling a job, that are working with their good customers, and they want something. They want something this way. And I guess we're not good enough to tell them no. Yeah. I don't know what it is. We go ahead and do it. But so we end up with a die catalog somewhere in like the 700 shapes that we utilize to make all this happen. On any given year, we're making, well, not this year or last year, but on any normal year, we're making between 30 and 70 new dies to work into some sort of customized project. And it's been a mind frame of making it happen, taking on that type of work that doesn't really fit in the other companies, the other places. And we end up solving that problem and being very vital to that type of customer. So we found a great spot there, and we found amazing loyalty. I mean, 50 years later, you get customers coming back saying, well, Winco did it last time.
It's impressive. And Gantt, I mean, you've obviously seen it all. Does it amaze you from the standpoint of how the offering that you have? Because I know when you were probably in your selling Windows days, it was you didn't have all the different tools at your disposal that you have right now, company wise.
No, but we had the ability to produce something quickly and at a reasonable cost, and we've always seemed to had a shorter lead time than a lot of our competitors. And the company has evolved. Its origins are all in innovation. It started with a patent, and then there are other patents, and even to this day, we're getting patents issued in our name. And we have some very exciting new products that we have produced, and maybe a little bit comes from my architectural background, in which an architect's job is to solve a problem. He's
sort of meddle in our issues,
and my wife's grandfather, he was a licensed architect also that started Winco. And so there's been that tradition that is carried throughout the company or throughout the years.
Yeah, no doubt. And now, which one of you coined the phrase history? History meets innovation. Which way or is that both of you?
That was sort of me.
Okay. Yeah. I like it, and I want to talk about it because I do think that it's one of those things that sets you guys apart, is that you have 100 years of backing. yet you are continuing to innovate. And, like Gantt just said, you're still getting patents to this day. A lot of companies in your position would probably rest on their laurels a little bit. That's not the case with you guys. What's that drive to keep innovating?
It's
I think
fun.
It's fun. Yeah. I like it. I like it. No, it makes sense.
You're quickened by the problem. It makes you think through things. It makes you make your process better. Keeps your people interested in you and interested in the company and the prospects out there. We get to do some really neat things.
Yeah, and it sounds like you're basically creating things for solutions for your customers. They're coming to you and saying, "We have this issue. Can you figure it out?" And that's a nice position to be in, that your customers trust you and they've had that experience with you. And so that obviously that lets your Gantt, your architectural mind work, and Woody, your engineering mind work, and then the brothers and the cousins, everybody just goes and we're off and running. I like it. Okay. So let's talk about and I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. Transcera, is that
Yep.
how you? Okay, so that's a product that was on a job in Nevada, or Reno, Nevada, the Pulikitis Elementary School, and I have pictures of this that I'm gonna put up for those of you watching on YouTube. You'll be able to see that. Take me through how you guys developed this product and what its space is, or what its part is in the building space.
Well, it's pretty fascinating how it evolved. The chief of police of the city of Reno was new chief of police. He had a meeting with the school board for Reno, and he said, if you want me to provide protection to your schools, you need to do something different in your schools. You need to have ways that protection, whether it's security glazing or what. And they really didn't know what they wanted, but they came up with this concept. And the concept was that if you have an active shooter in a school and he can't see a target, no one's going to get killed. And so what we designed for them was, we designed a roller shade that is sandwiched in between blinds, or in between panes of glass, and it would go up and down at a push of a button. The first iteration of it was that a principal at a school could shut down, and I'm talking about some fairly large campuses, every window at the same time to secure the building. And later they said, no, we're a little scared of putting all that responsibility on one person. And so they said, no, we want it just by classroom. And so then we did it to classroom. The fascinating thing is that I never thought I'd see the day where a significant cost of producing a product was software and programming. So we go out and we provide literally in this one school district somewhere between 2,000 and 4,000 windows in various schools, and we have to send software teams, our programming teams, out there for weeks.
Wow.
To get everything programmed right.
Well, we're a whole lot faster now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
There's a learning curve.
Yeah.
It was definitely a learning curve, and we can build ahead now on our programming and plug in and then do the training.
Yeah.
So that goes real quick now.
So we got a real side benefit out of going through this exercise, is that during construction, the first thing a workman would do when he'd come into a room, he'd hit that button to lower all the shades, because it was in the summertime,
right? And
he could drop the temperature in that room 15, 20 degrees.
Sure.
And he'd have a much nicer environment to work in.
Yeah, he didn't have the AC on yet, of course. So
true.
Yeah.
So we've done some energy studies, or we've had outside consultants do it, and we're literally cutting down as much as 35% of the energy, the heating cost by raising and lowering these based upon outside and inside conditions.
Sure.
And it's kind of fun. We're doing this. We're trying to do it all wirelessly, which is a whole nother challenge because of all the problems with wiring and the trades and so forth. But we have some wireless installations, and we've also, in this avenue, we've developed windows that have actuators on them that are tied to mechanical systems, and so they open automatically when it's time to bring in fresh air.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, I'm not betting against you for you'll figure out the wireless, I'm sure. I mean, you guys have figured out a lot in 100 years. I don't think you're gonna struggle with this one. That's an exciting project, and it's a great product. It's a product, like you said, that has multiple benefits to the end user, safety, occupant comfort, thermal. I mean, there's a lot to it. So congrats.
And now we're seeing the benefits in the hospital segment and healthcare, because we're taking a surface that they're having problem like drapes, or they were throw them away between patients, different patients, or the cleaning, sanitizing. It was very complicated and expensive, and this can eliminate this and also give the patient some control, because they can have a little like TV remote, and they can make the shades go up and down as they'd like it, and so you're giving them back a little dignity.
Yeah, that was our VP of engineering on the sort of front end of the whole Winco business. He had his child in his office and was telling him, "Look, play with this thing and try to break it." And he just had it going up and down and making it go all over. He's like, "Yeah, let's see what you can do to it, kid. Let's go."
That's the ultimate in R&D right there. I mean, it's a great real life example. I love it. I'm with Gantt and Woody Miller of Winco Windows. You can find them online at www.wincowindows.com out of St. Louis. But you guys do ship nationwide. I know you have reps everywhere. You do ship nationwide. Again, new products, very vast product line. Just curious, this one just popped into my head. Of all the segments that you're in, the historical renovation, the schools, the hospitals, what's your favorite? What's your favorite one to do? This is a wild card. I gave you an outline of things I might be asking. I did not ask this because it just popped into my head. So Gantt, I'll start with you because I think I caught Woody way off guard. What's your favorite?
Well, right now I am very excited, and our engineering team, I think, is also very excited, and our IT people, about coming up with solutions and strategies to help combat the COVID virus. Also, all across the country, there's these new BEEP standards that are being enacted, energy, building, performance standards, and they're asking to cut down 50% of the energy consumption, and this is just beautiful, because and to add to it, there's 40% of the big buildings in the country are single glazed.
Yeah.
So this is such a great opportunity for the window industry, the glazers, and so forth. And we're developing strategies to go into buildings and not disturb the occupants of the building, yet achieve some of these phenomenal energy savings.
I love it. And Woody, your favorite?
Oh, I'd almost want to cop out on this because I'm in operations, and it's the ones that feel good.
Yeah, the ones that get, yeah, exactly. Okay, that works. I don't blame you.
I really do like seeing the historical ones come together.
Yeah, I mean, you have a full head of hair and you're in operations. How does that happen? I don't understand that.
I'm young.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't look like it's falling out anytime soon. I love it. Now, it's a very, very cool stuff. And I think the renovation market is just primed to do unbelievable things coming. So you guys are definitely positioned well for that. The other thing I liked about in my research with the both of you is you both volunteer your time, your effort, your care. Gantt, I mean, you've been involved at the AMA side, for a huge amount of time, probably going back to your architect days at SOM. I mean, that's huge. And Woody, I mean, what you're doing to raise money for charities. Where does this come from? Your time to give back. I mean, you guys have families, you have a big business that you're running. It's unbelievable that you're doing it, and admirable. And I really respect that. So I'd love to hear a little bit of your insight on why, the volunteerism is so important to both of you guys.
I'll start off, but I'll let Woody give some more details. I really believe that's the American way.
Mhm.
And small companies love to give back. And we're a relatively small company, and we get involved in all sorts of outreach projects, and it's just our culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you tell them about some of the specific things? I can't
Yeah.
believe all the second chance and all this other stuff you get involved in.
Yeah. Please,
Uh,
please.
Probably the most poignant one, and probably the most relevant one to what's going on in the industry right now with employment. It's so difficult to get people into our plants to work,
Mhm.
and we're giving people chances that didn't get chances in some cases. But that's been, ever since I was in, for a very long time, we've been a second chance type employer, and getting those guys in here, let it be known that out there with that community of people, that it's a safe place. Like,
Mhm.
we're going to treat you the same as everybody else, as
Yep.
long as you come on in and do it as expected of someone that's coming to work.
Sure.
And you get a real reward from that when it doesn't happen, every week or every year, but you get the guys that you've known for a while, or that have talked to you, or that call you out of the blue and let you know that this has changed the trajectory of my life or my family's life.
Yeah.
And it really does. Yeah, we're in business, so you get the good and the bad, right? You get some days that are pretty crappy,
Yeah.
but then you can come back and you can hear from these people where their lives have gone in a direction that has been a whole lot better. Now, who doesn't want to hear that? Who doesn't want to take that home with them at the end of the day?
Absolutely. And you've also done, what I believe, canoeing or kayaking. I heard
That
that
was
you.
some years ago.
Okay.
But that was a charity event for kids, sort of a dream. It was like a dream-based, future-based charities that were helping kids achieve their dreams.
Nice.
So, and we did real well on that one, and that was certainly the beginning of that type of volunteerism. And
Well, tell them what you did, Woody. I think it's pretty phenomenal and how long it took.
Yeah.
we
Please.
kayaked from right around Yellowstone National Park to the Gulf of Mexico. So
Oh,
if
wow.
you follow the maps, it actually works. You take 3 rivers, but you can kayak the whole way. And
Wow.
so it took 110 days was what it took. You can do it faster, but we hung out some places.
Nice. That one I can't wait to tell my son. My son went kayaking a month ago, and it was the first time he ever went kayaking. We're not a very adventurous family, so for him to go out and do it was definitely a out of character sort of thing. And he came back and he's, I am so sore. My shoulders are killing me. That's the worst thing ever. And wait till I tell him you just kayaked, that you did this thing. He will lose his mind. So that is incredibly impressive, because that's not easy. But you did it for a good cause, and I like that. That's
You
big.
sink into it after a while. It
Yeah.
becomes easier than everything else.
Okay. No, I like it, and I salute both of you guys. Your volunteerism and the way you give back is incredible and important. So before I let you go, and again, I'm with Gantt and Woody Miller, Winco Windows. You can find them online, wincowindows.com. What are you guys saying for next year? We're coming. We're coming out of this. I assume we're coming out of this adventure that seemingly never ends. But What are you guys seeing for 2022? How's the business looking? How's the market looking for you? What's your gut telling you?
It looks pretty strong right now,
Okay.
and a lot of opportunities, a lot of challenges with supplies.
Yes.
The glass is in short, aluminum's short, paint short, hardware short, and so the extra effort that's being put on people to make everything come together
Hmm.
is incredible. And so far they're doing I think an exceptional job, and I I'm the guy that when people get really mad, and if they know me they'll call me,
Right.
and I have not gotten a call this year about us not performing and delivering super late or something. Now I'm sure we delivered late, and we have our problems like every other
Yeah.
company, but I have yet to receive a phone call this year with all this craziness going on, with a customer complaining and saying, well, you're not doing what you should be doing to
Yeah.
help us.
That speaks volumes to what you've been able to do in the past too. And
Good
what do you,
team.
obviously, supply chain is a problem, and you're an operations guy, so that's got to be, an adventure for you.
It's a constant. One of our sales, our vice president of sales, Sir Curtis, said the other day, you know what, we really are just pulling off little minor miracles every day just to get it out the
Yeah.
door on Friday. And that really is the truth. It's not the truth just at our company. It's all across the industry.
Yeah.
Everybody is fighting this fight, and it's pretty amazing. It speaks a lot to the industry in general that we're keeping the cart on the tracks here and going places still. But what really is defining it for me is there's a lot of demand out there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that want our goods, and it is going to be difficult to get it to them. And the way we forecast that, the way we try to hedge our supplies and understand what our demand is going to be, without impacting schedules in a way that really is detrimental to our bottom lines, because you only can produce so much in a month.
Right.
You need to
Yeah.
get it in. You need to
Yeah.
have the materials to do it. So that is really the crux of the entire thing, and the forecasting efforts, the planning efforts that we're putting forward right now. If you're out there and you're not doing it, I mean, it's hard to forecast. We always feel like we're dummies a year later. We're like,
Yeah.
wow, that didn't happen. But but if you do nothing, you really don't have a chance.
Yeah, and that's what I've been pushing. A couple themes. One is that planning and communication is so important. Being ahead of the game the best you can, and communicating up and down the supply chain. And the other thing is I think Gantt was alluding to it, is the resiliency, and you said it too. In a way, Woody, is that the resiliency of our industry is incredible. The fact that we are in a glass shortage, the fact that metal and framing so hard to get, and hardware so hard to get. This is unbelievable, challenging. And you guys have been through a lot of wars in 115 years or 105 years worth of business since 1915. I mean, so you've seen it, but this is definitely a heck of a challenge. But it's nice to see, the way you're taking it on head on with a good approach, communication systems, being a structure. And that's why I think it's working for you.
We're keeping our fingers crossed every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
We're definitely going to try hard the whole way, and we got a team at the plant that's amazing. The whole support network's been great, and all of our partners out there in the industry. We keep the supply chains open. These relationships have been here for a long time.
Yeah.
And they're not going anywhere. You have those conversations with the guy that's sending you the letter that you're going up 10% again. It's like, oh my goodness, what's going on? Like, so, but the guy is still calling you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is definitely a special time in our world, at so many different levels. But again, I think the way you guys have handled things, it's gonna it's going to come through on the other side looking good. And I hope you guys keep kicking butt out there. I mean, I'm real impressed. I look forward to getting to know you guys better, meeting you both in person one of these days. I'm just glad you gave me a half an hour to come chat with me. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you for having us
Thank you,
on.
Max, for inviting us. It was a pleasure.
No, this has been great. And again, you can find these guys online at wincowindows.com. More than 100 years in the business with some really neat products and that vast product line that Woody still has a whole head of hair. That's probably the biggest takeaway here. So I give you a lot of credit, but thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Max.